What else? I mean,
Man United doing bad.
yeah, I did. I mean, Arsenal beat Tottenham 4-2.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, really. Oh wait, what about what was it? Somebody threw. It was in the Arsenal Tottenham.
Oh yeah, somebody threw a banana at Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Yeah. Now the question is, do you approve of that?
Do I approve of what?
Throwing a banana at Aubameyang.
What a question.
See, no, here's the thing though. Okay, it was a banana. This is the important thing. It wasn't a banana. It was a banana skin. And it's worth noting, it has to be said, Luke, that a banana skin is quite slippy. So maybe they just wanted him to slip over.
Yeah.
And actually, Luke, you know what, that leads quite well onto the fact that one time my sister legitimately slipped on a banana skin.
Oh, jeez.
Like a Mario character. It was in school, and we didn't see each other that much. We went to the same school, we didn't see each other that much. But I saw her this time, and she stepped on a banana skin, and she just slipped over. Fell straight on the floor. So yeah, maybe that would have happened. Yeah.
Your explanation actually just then, that wouldn't surprise me. Like if I'm scrolling through like Twitter and underneath the story about it, Sky News tweet out the story, and underneath it, like there's a load of people saying he was just trying to make him slip. It's PC gone mad.
Yeah,
and a load of
maybe they'll like tell hilarious anecdotes about how their sister. You know what? I have a whole load of anecdotes about people falling over when I was in secondary school. I remember every single one.
Back up, chump, you know Biggie Smalls rips it quick and kicks it quick. You know how black niggas get with the hood fatigues, with the boots with trees. Flipping trees, making crazy cheese. Hitting buckshots at niggas that open spots on the avenue. Take my loot and I'm bagging. Pimping hoes that drive Volvos and rodeos. Flash the roll, make a wet in they pantyhose. Damn, a nigga style is unorthodox. Grip the Glock when I walk down the crowded blocks. Just in case a nigga wanna act out, I just black out and blow the motherfucking back out. That's a real nigga for you.
Hello and welcome to Select and Reflect, the movie review podcast where we look at films that have come out relatively recently at the cinema. I am your host Michael, and I'm joined as always by my co-host Luke. And this week we have been looking at I Feel Pretty by Amy Schumer. And we are doing it for a reason, Luke, but you might have to remind me what the reason is, because I can't remember. It's something to do with, like, I don't know.
It's for the culture, Michael. That was the listed reason in my Excel spreadsheet, for the culture.
That makes sense, yeah.
Now, seriously, the reason why we're doing it is because, like, we had a gap this week, and I was like, what movie should I fill it with?
Card.
Yeah, it was like, it was around the time I Feel Pretty was in cinemas, that I listed it here, and I was like, you know what, this would be interesting to talk about, Amy Schumer. It's a while since we've done something like this. I think the last time was Ghostbusters. Breaks it up nicely. So yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, that's true. We've just been looking at generally pretty good films up until this point, so time for I Feel Pretty. And yeah, but apart from that, why don't you tell us a thing or two about it?
Sure thing, Michael. So, I Feel Pretty is a 2018 American comedy film written and directed by Abby Cohn and Mark Silverstein. The film stars Amy Schumer, Michelle Williams, Emily Ratajkowski, Rory Scovel, Aidy Bryant, Boozy Phillips, I don't know, Tom Hopper,
Busty Phillips, the porn star,
Naomi Campbell, and Lauren Hutton. It was released, Michael, on the 20th of April, 2018. And do you want to have a go at the budget?
Well, Luke, I don't think it will be ridiculous, but I also don't think it will be the opposite to ridiculous. So I'm going to go for $30 million. Seems like a very middling guess.
Well, Michael, it's 32 million, so not just a middling guess, it's a very accurate guess, so congratulations.
Yeah.
That might be like the closest one you've got like in a long time.
Yeah, well, I had a pretty good moment, I think with Creed. I had one recently where I got both of them pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say yes, but, because it's just been such a long time since we did it, and it hasn't been uploaded to YouTube.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Oh dear.
And the box office?
The box office... goodness, I mean, it can't have done well. I don't think it broke 100 million, that's my opinion. but I think it probably made its budget back. I'm going to give it a conservative 50% of its budget back and go for 45 million. No, 55 million.
95 million.
Okay. I mean, you know what? I mean, I'm kind of happy that it wasn't over 100 million, because at least I was right about that.
Small victories, eh? So yeah. I Feel Pretty. I'll just give a quick description of it. So basically the film involves an insecure woman who, after suffering a head injury, gains extreme self-confidence in her appearance. This allows her to get the job she wants, this allows her to get a boyfriend as well, and it allows her basically to just live her dreams, even though she looks exactly the same. And then obviously she hits her head again, and she goes back to thinking she looked like she did before, and therefore, you know, hey, guess what, she learns a lesson in the end, and we're all happy.
We're all happy.
Yeah, Michael, do you have any nitpicks?
First we need to ask, did you like this film, or did you love it?
Are those the only two options? I would say I didn't like it, Michael. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, you know what, Luke? I'm going to have to... I don't think I put it on my little list yet, but I'm going to have to say that I did not like this film.
Yeah.
So... But yeah, apart from that, yeah, but aside from that, did you have any nitpicks, Luke?
No, I'm just thinking actually, like, the power that I have. I made you watch this movie. There was no way in a million years you would ever watch this.
That's true, yeah.
You decided to.
Yeah, you're right, Luke.
Yeah.
And yeah, you are the one who chooses the things. It's kind of funny because I always say, like, I'm the host and you're the co-host, just because of the conventions of it feeling weird that we would both be co-hosts. But at the same time, you are the one who picks the film, so really... You are the man behind the curtain. Yeah, I do the opening, so... Basically, it's kind of...
uploading.
Oh, yeah, uploading, yeah, sorry, yeah, you're right. In many ways, it's like, I'm the Queen and you're the Prime Minister.
Okay.
If they ran a podcast. I think that'd be good, if the Queen and the Prime Minister ran a podcast. Anyway, so yeah, nitpicks. I am interrupting you before you answer, but that's because you didn't answer. So, I actually only have... Two.
Okay, I have one.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. It was kind of a hard film to nitpick. And admittedly, one of my nitpicks really... I mean, it's not a nitpick, to be honest, Luke.
Yeah, that's what I expect. Like, half of your nitpicks aren't really nitpicks. That's the standard.
I just wrote down, holy shit, this film is 2 hours and 10 minutes. It just blew my mind. And that's the thing, actually, this is one of the things...
Is it 2 hours and 10 minutes? Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure...
Mine was 1 hour and 50.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I'm an idiot, and maybe I got the wrong side of 2 hours. Yeah,
how do you even do that?
You know what? I don't know. The important thing is, Luke, that whatever it was either 10 minutes after or 10 minutes before 2 hours.
Well, yeah, it was too long. I think we could.
Yeah, and apparently that's a thing Amy Schumer does a lot. Like, she makes these comedies, and then because she did another one called Trainwreck, and apparently that one was also ridiculously wrong. What
was it? A train wreck, perhaps?
See, at least Adam Sandler. Say what you will about him, but at least his films are really short. You know, his no effort films. He only makes them you watch them for 90 minutes.
He gets in there, makes a few racist jokes, and then he gets out. He knows his job.
Anyway, and. You know what, Luke, actually, to be honest, since you had one, you should have gone first, but I'll tell you what, you know what, Luke, you can throw your one in now, because I've done my one that wasn't really a nitpick, but I just wrote it down under nitpicks, and also it was wrong, because I got the link for the film wrong.
It's a CinemaSins nitpick, Michael.
Yes.
The opening credits are far too long.
You know what, I was thinking that as I was watching it, but the thing is, like, I don't know, yeah, I did, yeah, I was thinking, these seem like very long, and I was considering writing them, and I thought, because I remember when we did Manchester by the Sea, you... Did that same one? You know?
That's a good memory you got there. If you can remember that.
I just remember it, and then I was thinking I bet Luke will bring it up, so I could have brought it up, but you know, Luke, you're welcome.
Thank you.
So this one again, I feel like there are a lot of just moments like this, but this was the one that stuck out to me. Was when like the woman goes into reception. A woman goes into reception where Amy Schumer's working. And she's like, oh, I wouldn't expect to see someone like you working here. And basically, she's getting real close to basically just saying, you're too ugly to work here. And obviously, Amy Schumer, at that point in the film, doesn't believe she's ugly. So she's like, no, you know, ignoring it and making it not think making it clear that she doesn't realize that's what's being said. But the thing is, like, nobody would actually feel the need to say, hey, receptionist, you're a bit ugly to be working here. It was just ridiculous. Like, nobody actually would do that.
Yeah, that's kind of a issue in the movie.
Yeah, I was going to say there are a lot of moments like that, but that was the one where I was just thinking, like, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of a big nitpick, but yeah, it gets into a larger issue with this movie. But yeah, so Michael, I think we should start on the plot.
Yes.
So you go first. Tell me what you thought of the plot of I Feel Pretty.
Well, I suppose we should probably start with the premise, before looking at the specific things that happen.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
The premise is not an awful idea. You might even say it was arguably somewhat clever, at least the bare bones of it. The premise is, basically there's a woman who doesn't think she's very attractive, and then she bangs her head, and becomes convinced that she is attractive, that she's the most beautiful woman in the world. Well, not necessarily the most beautiful, but very beautiful.
Yes.
And then all of the shenanigans that happen from that, and obviously the shenanigans that do happen from that is that she becomes a bit of a minx.
A minx.
A real trollop.
A diva.
Yeah, a diva. She becomes a diva. And then eventually she bangs her head again, and she then decides that she's not attractive.
You're just repeating what I said earlier, Michael.
I'm saying, like, okay, so that's the premise. The important thing is, it's not a terrible idea. I don't think. I think it's kind of like. I mean, it's interesting. I have two broad criticisms about it. Number one, they had a scene earlier, like in kind of the opening of the film, where it's showing how terrible her life is, where she falls off an exercise bike. And I guess like it hits like the crossbar or something hits her vagina. It was kind of hard to tell what was going on, but I assume it hit her vagina because that's funny, because vagina. But yeah, like, so it's the scene at the beginning. So they've already established the thing of her falling off exercise bikes. So it just felt a bit weird to me that they would have, her hurt herself on an exercise bike, and it's just an irrelevant thing, and then have a pivotal point of the film after that be her hurting herself on exercise bikes. It just doesn't work, Luke. You can't have this one thing that's just a casual little joke. She hurt herself on an exercise bike, right in the vagina. And then later on, be like, oh, she fell off an exercise bike, and it's the pivotal part of this film. It would be like if that happened in a different film.
That's great.
Anyway, I assume that.
What a great cop out.
Yes, I assume that you don't necessarily have anything to comment on that, so I will move on to my second.
Well, no, I'll say. I think they wanted the scene where she wakes up and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm so pretty. This is amazing," and like a bizarre, confused employee is like, "Yeah, okay, sure," and so they couldn't have her just do that like in her own house or in the middle of the street. I don't know. She falls and trips and hits her head on the pavement. Like it had to be like in something like what's it called, Soul Cycle. Had to be in something like that. So you'd get the like an employee going, "What happened to her here?
Yeah,
what's going on?" Because that it's funny.
It is funny.
It's hilarious.
But my other pretty serious problem with this film, because it kind of felt like a bit of a rip-off of the Nutty Professor. Especially the twist or the development of actually she's a bit of an asshole when she believes she's attractive. Basically, it's just the Nutty Professor, but in the Nutty Professor, he's actually attractive, whereas in this, she just thinks she's attractive.
Do you remember what Eddie Murphy's name was?
In the Nutty Professor?
Yeah.
Oh no. I can't remember.
It was Buddy Love.
Buddy Love. Oh yeah.
Buddy Love. That's just the greatest name of all time.
Yes. So yeah, basically, I mean, it's kind of the difference is that obviously in this one she just believes that she's attractive. In the Nutty Professor, he actually is attractive, and like that is a difference. But then the flip side is that the moral and the lesson is the same. So I don't know. They basically what they needed to do is do something more interesting with like the twist and the moral and all that stuff.
Well, here's the thing, Michael. You compared it to the Nutty Professor. This movie to me, and I've had a look at a couple of reviews and they say the same thing. This movie to me reminds me of the 2001 movie with Jack Black and Gwyneth Paltrow, Shallow Hal. Do you know you've seen that?
No.
Or you've heard of it? Have you heard of it?
No. Shallow Hal.
Yeah, Shallow Hal. H-A-L.
Oh, I got it. So his name's Hal and he's shallow.
Yes. So the idea is, I can't remember what happens to him, but basically he only wants to date attractive women, like most men, and then he must do a similar thing to Amy Schumer, like hit his head, or maybe he takes some drugs or something. But basically, he pictures this girl who is like really, really fat. He pictures her as Gwyneth Paltrow, who is of course really attractive.
Ah.
And so then he's dating this girl who he believes looks like Gwyneth Paltrow. Sorry, yeah, and she's actually like really, really fat. And basically he learns not to be shallow, because then at the end of the movie he sees her for who she truly is and is like, you know what? Even though she's fat and ugly, guess what? I'm still going to be with her because, you know what? I like her personality.
Yeah.
And like the movie has not aged well, really, because the message kind of is like the only reason why he's with her is because she looks like Gwyneth Paltrow, and you know, like, or he thinks she looks like Gwyneth Paltrow, and so yeah, it's we should maybe do that one time. I remember I watched it once; it was quite fun. But now, yeah, looking back on this, you can see this. It's how it's similar, kind of, to this movie. This movie is better in terms of its message than that movie, but it's like that movie's kind of message is like, hey, give fat, ugly girls a chance, you know?
Yeah. It's like Beauty and the Beast, except it's just like she's not a beast; she's just fat.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much enough about the premise. I might actually have to check.
Yeah, the guy from Seinfeld's in that as well, in Shallow Hal. George Costanza. He plays a very George Costanza-esque character.
Yeah.
I don't think he has a penis. I think that's true.
Wait,
I'd have
is
to
that
check
like
that.
a plot point of his character is that he doesn't have a penis?
Yes, I believe so.
That sounds just wonderful. I mean, I can't imagine why, but that sounds like it must be like a really sad thing. Like, surely if you don't have a penis, then it's because you've lost it in some kind of horrible accident.
Yeah, well, I can't remember the details, Michael, but I don't think he has a penis, and that obviously means comedy ensues. But yeah, onto the plot. I just have a couple of things to say. Firstly, okay, we know she thinks she looks like a 10 out of 10 incredible, like, stunning person. Why don't we get to see what she thinks she looks like?
You know what? I was thinking that in my head when, especially at the obviously there's the first scene where she looks in the mirror and she's banged her head and she starts saying, "Oh, I'm really attractive." At first, I thought it was a literal body swap film. Like she actually would look physically like at first when she was just saying, "Oh, look at how attractive I look," and I was thinking, "Oh wait, are they going to show us what she now looks like or something?" And then of course you do find out that it's because she doesn't know. I mean, she isn't actually attractive. She just thinks she's attractive. I kind of, get what you're saying. We don't see what she thinks she looks like. I guess it's because the message of the film is you should see yourself as attractive no matter what you look like. So if they, let me see if I can come up with the word for this. If they reified, I like that word, Luke, it means to make something real. If they reified her conception of what she looks like as an attractive person, then it would go against the ethos of the film, that really it's not how she looks that actually matters, it's the confidence. So, because the problem is, I guess here's what I'm saying, okay? If she looked in the mirror and she saw, who's really hot right now, like a woman,
Emily Ratajkowski?
Yeah, okay,
Well, because she's in this movie, that's why I said.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, Emily, can't it be someone with, name that's easy to pronounce, like, I mean, I'm thinking, who's that girl who's in, A Million Ways to Die in the West, and also...
Charlize Theron.
Yeah, if she looks in the mirror and...
I like that's why you remember her.
I just remember it because Seth MacFarlane decided that she would be desperate to be in a relationship with him. So yeah, if she looks in the mirror and saw Charlize Theron, then it would be very difficult to get around the fact that actually, Charlize Theron is a lot more attractive than Amy Schumer. So basically, by not having any other really attractive people in the film, you can kind of forget. You think, you accept this reality, and like, oh yeah, Amy Schumer, you know what? when she's confident, she's having fun, maybe she is pretty attractive, but if you saw Charlize Theron, then that would all be gone. How about that, Luke?
Maybe. I'd still like to see what she's looking at. Also, like, obviously she looks at herself in the mirror.
Yeah, it is weird that she looks at herself in the mirror and she looks completely the same. Like, you think, that would be the one, because obviously it's from her perspective, that would be the one.
Yeah. But just what about, this could have been a nitpick actually, what about pictures? Like, if someone takes a picture of her, does she see the real version of her, or the version she thinks she looks like?
And also, I mean, I tell you, okay, you're on a good point there, Luke, but I'm going to take it even further, because there's a scene where she's like, there's an old picture of her, and she's like, they're kind of talking about how they're not getting dates. She's like, I'll tell you why, it's because that old picture of me is back when I was ugly. But if we take a new picture of me, now that I'm attractive, it will be fine. Now that creates a problem, doesn't it, Luke? Because it means that, like surely the way it would work is she would just see herself and see an attractive person. Meaning that even if she saw an old picture of herself, she would see the same person.
That's a good point.
It doesn't make, so basically if you took a picture of Amy Schumer and she didn't know when you'd taken it, say you took a picture, a sneaky little snapshot, before she banged her head, but then you put it on Facebook after she banged her head, would her, body dysphoria know that the photo was taken before she banged her head? Would she be like, that photo must have been taken before I banged my head because I look ugly in that photo? That's the question, Luke. These are the questions we have to know the answers to.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about Michael. Yeah, it's very insightful. This is why we do this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, these are the important things. Like we're going to blow this conspiracy wide open.
Anyway, just on the plot, just in general, I'd say we can talk about all the messaging and Amy Schumer and all that, but just the plot is so generic.
Yeah.
It's like, it's basically what you expect, like, she works at this company, and what a coincidence, they're trying to get women like her to buy their products.
Yeah, that felt very contrived. It was like, we need I mean, literally, tell you what it's like, actually, Luke. I just realised this now. It's like the episode where Homer goes into space. And it's like, nobody wants to see these astronauts because, we need an astronaut that will appeal to the common man. And then they pick Homer. That's literally the plot. It's like, we need a fashion person, woman who will appeal to the common woman. Speaking of which, though, Luke, actually, I can use that to piggyback one of my kind of points about the plot. I was expecting a much more substantial second act, by which I mean, of course, the second act, everyone knows in films, is when the character has their low moment. Now, that does happen. Well, it happens in kind of like a weird way, because the bit when she's being all arrogant, it's kind of strange, in a way, because, I don't have to talk about this, because her being arrogant isn't what causes her to have the second act. Because she's being a not very nice person to people all through the period where she thinks she's attractive. She's being mean to her friend. Well, actually, it's mostly just her friends. She's being really mean to her friends when she thinks she's attractive. And that isn't the cause of her, big second act fall. The cause of her second act fall is that she ceases to believe she's attractive. Which is kind of problematic when you think about it, because it's not her being a bad person to, her friends and things like that causes her to have, or at least it's not immediately that, which causes her to have all these negative effects. It's her no longer believing she's attractive, which causes her to, So that's a problem. But apart from that, what I was going to say is that the whole thing just felt like a bit empty. Like there wasn't really much conflict. It was just, she doesn't think she's attractive, so she doesn't go to see the guy because she's worried that she's not attractive. And the problem is it feels empty largely because that she never really was attractive to begin with. Like the whole point is that whether or not she's attractive is completely in her own mind. So the fact that she banged her head and no longer believes she's attractive isn't really much of a cause for a second act. And I was thinking, obviously it's dumb to talk about how this film could have been improved, but what I was expecting was there would be some kind of moment where she realizes, for example, that she's only being kept in her position in that company because she's unattractive or something like that, and then she'd, that would cause her to have a bit of a crisis of conscience, or not crisis of conscience, crisis of thinking that she's not actually attractive because she finds out she was only in there because she looked like a dull, boring woman.
That'd go against the messaging of the movie.
No, then she'd get it would turn around eventually. So basically it would be so the point is the big second act low point, number one. So rather than just banging her head and being like, oh, I guess I'm, not attractive anymore. Basically, it would be like in Dumbo in 2019, where he finds out that he didn't need the feather at all and he could always fly, and the feather was just the way of convincing him to fly. Likewise, this is how it would go. She's a real meanie to her friends. Then she goes into work, finds out that the only reason she was hired was not because she's super attractive, but because she's, a common woman, something like that. And then she's like, oh, I guess I'm not attractive. I don't know how it would work. Maybe she does bang her head. Maybe that's the only way to solve it. But basically, she realizes she's not attractive. And then she finds out that her friends hate her, and she's like, oh no, this is bad. And then she has the moment where someone's like, you've got confidence, and then it works. But the second act, as it sounds, is just like, she's mean to her friends, and that's not a problem for like half the film. Then she bangs her head and thinks she's ugly, and then suddenly it's like, oh no, my friends don't like me anymore because I'm ugly or something. It's just stupid.
Yeah, I think as well, like, think about how she bangs her head too. Like, she's in the shower, and why is she in the shower, Michael?
Because she was about to cheat.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she didn't.
Yeah.
And so she did the right thing.
It's true, yeah, you're right.
Then she bangs her head.
Yeah.
It would have been good if, like, karma, if she was doing something like cheating, and then she bangs her
I think
head.
maybe Amy Schumer has an ego where she can't cast herself as a really bad person. Maybe that's it. Maybe she's not like Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy can cast himself as a real bad person.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it was just like, I agree with what you said
about the fact that it's not comic that. Yeah.
Yeah, when she bangs her head, like, she did something good, and then she bangs her head. It's just like, oh, we need her to bang her head now. We're 1 hour and 20 minutes into this movie. She needs to bang her head. She goes in the shower and she bangs her head. There we go. Done.
Yeah.
Sorted. Let's go.
You're right. I guess she have. Okay, so I don't know. I have a whole load of like random things, but they're not nitpicks really. They're just comments. And I think they're only going to fit in here, so I'm just going to blast through them. None of them are nitpicks really. So number one. Actually, okay, this is one thing. I don't know where this can fit apart from here. This presents like a complete lie of a world where, like, if you're really weird in public, people will like you. It's like she's doing all these like crazy things. And like real life, everyone would just be like, "Ooh, what's happening right now?" Like no one would be fond of her. And yet in this world, I was like, "Yeah, she's cool. She believes in herself." It's a lie.
Well, it's because they treat her like she's got a disability. And it's like, oh, look, she's still living life.
Yeah, you're right. It is like, it's like, yeah, it's like, oh, she thinks she's attractive even though she's really ugly. Let's be nice to her.
She's got no right to think that way, but yet she does. Wow, you got to give it up.
Yes, and then I think last thing, Amy Schumer would actually do quite well in a really trashy like country bar, because. Like, in a trashy country bar, they don't really care how attractive they are, they just care that you're white. So, like, I was just, like, during the scene where they have the bikini contest, and everyone's, like, cheering, I was thinking, like, to be honest, unironically, like, I've seen some pretty dumpy-looking country girls who, you could just imagine them with their short shorts, denim short shorts, and their plaid? Is it pronounced plaid? Doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
I think that's right. Plaid shirts, tied up in a knot. Be like, okay, boys, ready to do this, and pretty chubby, but they will be cheering. So basically, that's what should happen. If you look like Amy Schumer, you're fat and blonde, just move to the deep south, and they'll be like, well, I like a woman with a lot of meat on her bones. She looks like she could drive a tractor, something like that. Yeah. I don't know. Do they have tractors in the south, or is that just in the West Country?
Nah, they'll have tractors in the south, definitely. Yeah, because they can't get the black people to pick it now.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, that's everything I had to say about the plot. But of course,
I just want to jump on that.
That's fine.
Because I just want to ask the question: is Amy Schumer unattractive in this movie?
I wanted to kind of talk about that too, because like, obviously I'm calling her fat. I think it's worth noting she's apart from aside from her being unattractive, which I think is probably more subjective, because obviously. Like, there's no real determinant, but I think, like, a better point is, like, is she fat? Because that's kind of objective. And to be honest, like, in the grand scheme of things, she's not fat. She's not, like, Eddie Murphy in A Nutty Professor fat.
Or Gwyneth Paltrow's actual body in Shallow Hal.
Yeah, exactly. She's not... Yeah, so basically, she's not fat. obviously, like, is she unattractive? That's like a harder question to answer because, I don't. I wouldn't.
Just answer my
I wouldn't fall in love with her. I think, you know what, Luke? I think there have been points in my life where I'd have probably had sex with Amy Schumer.
Just points.
Well, I don't know if I. Well, the thing is, like, now I feel like I'm more mature, and I wouldn't just. I'm less of a horn dog now. I wouldn't just go after anything that moves anymore, Luke. Those days are past me. But I think, you know, back in my day, when I was in my prime, when I was going after everything, yeah, I'd go after some Amy Schumer.
Oh, this is
I would
great.
date her. And that's the thing, like, that's the problem. I mean, I know this is really mean to say, but, like, Amy Schumer is one of those girls who I'd have sex with, but I'd be too embarrassed to be like... to be like... But the thing is, like, I'll say this, okay? Obviously, unattractive people, there's just this generally agreed rule that unattractive people need to settle for each other to some extent. And I'm not going to say I'm attractive, Luke. I'm not going to say, like, I expect a supermodel. But I feel like I look for more average, maybe slightly above average, whatever else, something like that. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a supermodel, Luke. But if you're like Leonardo DiCaprio, you're probably going to be looking for a supermodel. Or Brad Pitt, you're looking for a supermodel. But if you're like, you know, who's an unattractive person who won't be offended by me saying they're unattractive, Luke? Steve Buscemi. He doesn't care.
I thought you were going to pick someone we knew.
Yeah, I know, it's just seem mean,
Like,
Luke.
Okay, yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
like,
I wasn't going to mention
like
Dylan.
who we don't know, like
Oh.
Hollywood. Like,
Yeah.
we might know somebody, but I'll just pick someone who we know will be cool.
Yeah.
Would be attractive. Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, I can't think of, like, many... Like, there must be lots of famously unattractive men, but all I can think of is Steve Buscemi. So if you're like Steve Buscemi, you're just going to have to, especially like a non-famous version of Steve Buscemi, someone who's just as ugly as Steve Buscemi, but you're not famous, you're just going to have to accept the fact that you're going to have to date a slightly unattractive girl. So the point is, there is somebody out there for everyone, but I'm too good for Amy Schumer.
Wow.
Does that make me sound like a good person? Like, I hope so.
Here's the thing with Amy Schumer, like, she's not the most attractive person in the world. However, at points in this movie, she does look, you know,
Yeah.
like, nice.
Yeah, she's probably made up quite heavily in this
Yes.
film. Which
But,
obviously, well, the thing is, I guess, I mean, I'll let you finish your point.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, that's the thing. She's, I don't know, like, this is where we get into trouble when we're saying, she's a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, whatever. Like, just because
No,
we're
it's fine.
comparing
Luke. It's just objective. Everyone hates numbers, but I think numbers are useful. So, in
Okay.
fact, what we should do, Luke, is we should have a list, and each time we should review a girl each episode, and then we should place them on the list, and we should decide which girl is better than which other girl, and eventually, at the end of the podcast is run, we'll have a comprehensive list of every single girl listed in order from most attractive to least attractive.
And then we could create a website and get our listeners to vote on these women as well.
Yeah, that's a
So
good
who
idea.
they think's the most attractive and
We
least
could post
attractive too.
the highest quality upskirts. I think that's illegal, isn't it, Luke?
Yeah. Well, what I was doing there was a joke about the founding of Facebook, because obviously that's how it started.
I didn't. You know what? Is that
Yeah, it was just like Mark Zuckerberg was drunk one night. It was like, hey, do you know what would be cool if we created a website in which we compared girls?
Oh yeah, well, you know what? I
We
mean,
just got a load of pictures of girls and said, rank which one's hotter.
Mark Zuckerberg is quite the alpha, so it makes
Yeah.
sense.
And then fascism, yeah. But here's the thing with Amy Schumer, like, I can imagine there will be women watching this film who are less attractive than Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
And thinking, oh my god.
Her really fat friend was less attractive than Amy
AD
Schumer.
Bryant. That's the thing, like, if she's unattractive, then, you know, I guess for Hollywood she is.
Yeah.
But, like, in regular everyday life.
Yeah, she's not a massively
No.
unattractive person in real life,
Yeah.
or relative to real life.
So that's one of the problems with this movie. It does cast her as like, oh, this person is just horrendously unattractive. You know, you can't even look at her. People walk into the place where she works and think she's too ugly to work there, even though that's unrealistic. But still, that's what happens in this movie. And I'm like, you're less attractive than Amy Schumer. You're like, oh damn, is that how the world sees me?
Yeah.
And then that could be pretty hard for the self-esteem.
I had mentioned Steven Crowder on this show before because he played somebody in Arthur. He's actually a conservative, and I don't want to say his opinion is good, but he did make a point one time talking about Amy Schumer, where he basically said, like, I feel like Amy Schumer lives in this world where just like everyone has been personally horrible to her, and then she projects that view onto society. Because there's a bit in like Amy Schumer's stand-up comedy where she's talking about how like everybody hates women all the time. And to be honest, like, I mean, obviously Steven Crowder is not woke when it comes to feminism, and on that issue, of course, he's wrong. But it's kind of funny, like, to think that this does present a very bleak, nihilistic view of society for a feel-good film.
I guess, yeah, it does. That's the thing, like, society, I mean, this wouldn't be possible in this kind of movie, but, like, society, the way society treats her, it's like one of the things that should happen is society changes. Society now doesn't view unattractive women like this, but of course that doesn't
like
happen.
the end with Ants, but, you know, it's not about fascism.
Yes. Well, is that that's the movie with, like, all the ant workers should rise up?
Well, the thing is, there's Ants, there's Bug's Life, and they're very similar. I'd say, generally speaking, Bug's Life is about, like, neo-colonialism, and possibly capitalism in general, while Ants is specifically about fascism, because in Bug's Life, it's the grasshoppers expect it's kind of just crazy how obviously socialist it is, because the ants, they do all the work, picking all of the food and the grain and stuff, and the grasshoppers show up and they say, we want you to give us your food, pay us tribute. And then there's a bit at the end where Flick says, like, we're the ones who do all the work, we don't need you, you need us. And then the Soviet national anthem starts playing. But then in Ants, it's more like there's a military government in charge of the colony, and they decide to flood the colony because they only want the strong to survive. So their plan is to kill off all of the weak elements of society, all of the cripples and the lames and the workers, and just have all of the strong survive.
Wow.
So
who knew? Who knew movies about insects in the late 90s were so political?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's crazy. But so yeah, well, I guess that's the solution. Make this film about ants.
Yeah. So basically, to sum up, is Amy Schumer unattractive?
Nah. Well,
like, I would say she's maybe just, but like to cast her as unattractive is just, I think, going too far. And like, I don't know if she's saying, oh, this is how it's like in real life for women, or how they're treated, or if she's just doing it for comedy purposes.
Mm-hmm.
And that also is interesting.
You know, Luke, I'm going to ruin your summary by adding something, because it's not something that contradicts you, it's just adding something else.
Yeah.
Obviously the thing is, like, there are films about unattractive men, like The Nutty Professor. The thing about those films is that the men are much more unattractive. Like, I think we kind of already said that with, like, Nutty Professor and things like that. But then I guess the charitable interpretation would be, you say, well, that's because the physical expectations placed on women are much more stringent than the expectations placed on men. So I guess, like, so basically it's kind of just me saying, like, that is a difference, but I suppose you can explain that difference. But ultimately, but the thing is, like, obviously, still, even accounting for that, it doesn't really make much sense. They could have had, I don't know, Dawn French. Do you know Dawn French is?
I know who Dawn French is,
I bet, like, Americans don't know who Dawn French is, but who cares?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. So, what do we want to get into next? I think we're done with the plot.
Yes.
I'll just say, actually, one thing for the plot. We said it was generic, and, like, it was quite, it's fun to talk around the movie. It's one of those. Fun to talk about not actually stuff in the movie. And that's why, one of the reasons why I picked it. But yeah, the plot was just, like I said, completely generic.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And it was trash.
The other film we've done that's really bad is 50 Shades of Grey. I'd say that's one of the... Daddy's Home 2 was also pretty bad, but 50 Shades of Grey is the one that stands out to me as, like, really bad. And the thing about 50 Shades of Grey and 50 Shades 2, like both of them, is that there was a lot to talk about what happened, because just everything that happened was so insane and crazy in 50 Shades of Grey.
Yes.
In this film, there's, like, in terms of the actual events that happen, nothing that interesting happens. There's no, like, moment where you're like, oh, I can't believe this happened. Except for the time when she's a real horrible person to her friends, actually. That was the only thing. Like, I think maybe we can talk about that, actually, just because I don't know where it'll be covered. Oh, actually, no, we can talk about it under romance, but that's not. Because we're going to talk about romance. Okay, you know what? Let's do it anyway. Alright, so, this is a romantic comedy So
It's just a comedy.
yeah, no, but it is kind of it's not a romantic comedy by name, but it is a comedy with romantic elements. So I'm going to call it a romantic comedy. And because of that,
Okay.
I think we should talk about the romance and the comedy. And do you know what was an example of romance gone wrong? Was when Amy Schumer was just a terrible person on that triple date thing. I don't know. It was actually, you know what? It was the only time when I actually had to pause the film because I was cringing so much. She shows up and her friends are getting along with these guys and she's like, oh, I don't know, she's like, oh, just these guys are so crazy, and they're not actually like themselves. They're completely different to themselves, which makes them attractive. But it was just bad.
Yeah, okay, that's a fair point.
But apart from that, we'll talk about. Okay, so I really only have two things to say about the romance. Number one,
Are we doing comedy first or romance?
we're doing romance first because it's a romantic comedy, Luke. Which is
Okay,
exactly
fine.
what it is.
I've got nothing to say on the
Okay,
romance.
so I
nothing
can
at all.
steamroll this. So, first of all,
One sec.
there was a moment where I was very afraid when this very handsome guy shows up, obviously the brother of, I don't know her name, shows
Lily Leclerc.
Lily Leclerc.
I think he's called Avery Leclerc.
Avery Leclerc. Okay, so when Avery Leclerc shows up, I was thinking to myself, oh no.
Oh no shit, it's Grant Leclerc.
Grant.
Avery's the sister, and Lily's the grandmother. There we go.
Okay.
Grant Leclerc.
Grant Leclerc. Grant Leclerc. So Grant shows up, and I'm thinking to myself, oh no, she's going to get with an attractive guy. And because one of the criticisms of both incels and I guess you'd say fat activists, I don't know what the term is, but
One of the criticisms of incels.
well, okay, so incels and fat activists have one thing in common, namely that they are very angry that society doesn't think they're attractive. Well, I'm kind of branching. I don't really mean all fat activists, but a general subset of why don't guys like me? Why things like that. They have one thing in common, which is that they don't like that society generally views them as unattractive. And one of the common criticisms of these people is that they are often expecting to date really attractive people. So they're like, oh, society hates me because I'm unattractive, but then they themselves only want to date, either a really buff, strong guy if they're into guys, or a really hot, blonde girl with massive boobs and a perfect body if they're into women. And basically, that is a legitimate criticism, I think. And I was really worried the film was going to do that. I was really worried it was going to be like, oh, she gets the perfect attractive guy because she believes in herself, and that's good because she wouldn't want to date the not so attractive guy. And I was really worried about that. They didn't do that, and that's good.
Alright.
So I just really wanted to use that to make a point about general body positivity. Sometimes body positivity can be hypocritical because people believe that part of body positivity is getting to date other people who are, really generically attractive. Anyway, but number two is obviously she does end up going out with this guy called Ethan, and he is a pretty on her league, same league as her looking guy, I'd say. Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about leagues, and I kind of appreciated that, it wasn't like he was some kind of outrageously attractive person anyway. And the kind of funny thing, in a way, is that, even if she didn't have this whole thing where she believed she was really attractive, just being as she is, she probably could have got a guy like that. I mean, I don't know, if I met those two as a couple, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that, you have my blessing, you couple. So, basically, it was, I liked that decision to have it be just a guy who was equally not as attractive looking. And I thought the romance, I guess, was quite sincere seeming, at least at some points, when they have sex, that seemed like pretty good. Pretty good. Like they were actually, I don't know, I believe that they were actually two people dating in the moment when the film wasn't being completely ridiculous.
Yeah, they had good chemistry.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only bit where I kind of fell apart was with the whole she now thinks she's not attractive and all this stupid stuff happens. But that was just a plot problem. So, yeah, like you said, they have good chemistry. Now, humour. Why don't you talk about humour a bit, seeing as you didn't have anything to say about romance? And I don't actually have that much to say about humour, although I'm probably just going to be able to, think on the fly. So, talk about humour.
Okay, so, here's the thing. This movie, makes jokes about... Okay, so here's the thing. Right. It's a comedy, Michael.
Yeah.
It's a comedy. So where is the source of comedy? Where does it come from? Where's the main source of comedy?
It's a physical comedy, right?
Well,
Oh,
no.
okay. Well, I was thinking people
well,
falling over. But
Oh, no, I'm talking about the main meat of the movie, like in terms of the comedy. Like in the middle of the movie, what is funny about it? What's funny is like the main source of it of the comedy is that we're going to be laughing at Amy Schumer
okay.
as she thinks she's attractive.
Amy Schumer was going to be my second guess.
Right. But it's like, lol, she's not actually attractive.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like, oh, we're gonna laugh at her having this confidence. We're gonna laugh at her
Yeah, that's true.
being like, oh, look at her. She's acting like she's attractive, but she's not. She's so stupid. Like, she thinks she's hot. Like, she shouldn't be acting like this. And that's basically where it comes from. Like, she shouldn't. The source of comedy is we shouldn't think she's attractive.
Yeah, that's true.
Because then it's funny to us when she acts like she is attractive. And so I think that's the issue with this. Like, the thing is, it's not really a comedy. I'd say with this movie, there's not a lot of jokes, even though it's listed as a comedy. But that right there, that is meant to be the comedy. But then you're torn. It's like, wait, isn't it good? Like, that she's acting like this. I shouldn't really be laughing at this. That she thinks she's the hottest girl on a wet t-shirt contest because, hey, good for her. That kind of attitude. But then it's like, well, she obviously isn't as attractive as all the other girls. So, and she thinks she is, so that's funny. So that's where it's like, the comedy kind of
contradicts the message.
Contradicts with the message, yeah. And then they make jokes at the start of the movie about her being fat when she breaks the fucking bike, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And she hurts her vagina. Like, obviously that's a physical comedy joke, but it's like, oh, look, she's so fat she broke the bike. So yeah, I'm not sure this movie really promotes or teaches a lesson about body. Oh, you can't say it does promote a lesson about body positivity when the jokes are meant to be like, lol, she shouldn't actually have that body positivity. Like, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the comedy in this movie and how, like you put it well, it does contradict the message.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good point. All I wrote under humour was the word vagina. Just because, I don't know, like, are you familiar with the South Park joke?
No.
The South Park joke is, it's an episode where Cartman, basically, in one of the recent seasons, Cartman becomes a progressive liberal. And he does a speech in front of, South Park is... Did you hear the shocking news that the creators of South Park identify themselves as Republicans? Shocking.
Oh, how shocking.
Anyway, basically, there was a speech in front of the entire school where he says, like, women are funny and smart, get over it. And he's like, every single time Amy Schumer mentions her vagina, I laugh so hard. I'm not going to do the Cartman voice. And then he's kind of interviewing the girls at the school, and he's like, do you think women are funny? And they're like, get away from me, Cartman. And he's like, now say my vagina. And that's the joke. I think it's a legitimate criticism of Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer has incredibly... Did you hear about her Netflix special that got really bad reviews?
I probably did.
Yeah, and it was a good example of the Ghostbusters phenomenon, where it kind of became like, obviously right-wing reactionary people hated it, and they, downvoted it or rated it 1 star or whatever you do on Netflix. And then, of course, it became like a political issue, where I was like, oh, no, right-wing anti-feminists hate Amy Schumer. The thing is, it just wasn't actually that funny. Like, the jokes were things like, my pussy smells so bad. I have a massive pussy because of all the guys I've had sex with. Vagina, pussy, vagina, butt cracks. And that was basically the entire thing. And I didn't fully approve. And that's the thing, so she has a very crude sense of humour. So when you put it all together, you have crude humour, physical comedy, and jokes that contradict the fundamental message of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those 3 things in combination make it fair to say that the comedy isn't really a strong point for this film.
Oh, yeah. I think you've knocked it out of the park there, Michael. Comedy really isn't a strong point in this movie.
Yes.
I don't know what is a strong point in this movie, but that certainly isn't one of them.
Yeah, so the important thing is women aren't funny.
Women aren't funny, and people shouldn't get over
Get
over it.
Yeah.
Basically. I think we're done on comedy.
Yeah. So the important thing is stop inviting women on Have I Got News for You, because they're not funny.
They're just not funny.
Yeah.
This proves it.
Apart from Victoria Coren Mitchell, Joe Brand, and that one Scottish woman who's on the news quiz a lot.
Oh, I don't know.
You do
not
watch
this kind of shows in ages.
The news quiz is actually on Radio 4, Luke. And if you were truly a middle class person, then you would have your parents listen to Radio 4 when they're driving along in the car, and you go, the news quiz.
Your life is...
Oh, you know what, Luke? I have to tell you, okay, so...
Incredible.
You know I was saying, I went up to see my grandparents? So basically my granddad's a professor, a former professor, which tells you pretty much everything you need to know. Yeah, they're just like the typical white, hyper-educated, middle-class liberals. And the entire... I forgot my laptop charger. I don't know if I mentioned that to you, but I forgot my laptop charger while I was there, which completely sucked all my plans. Yes. And basically meant I had to just be entertained by what entertains, 80-year-old middle-class people. So I pretty much spent the entire time listening to a combination of Radio 3 and Radio 4 and watching BBC News and then Strictly Come Dancing. And that was basically it. And also walking to the paper shop, corner shop every morning to get a daily copy of The Guardian. It's such stereotypes.
What a fucking life. Honestly.
Anyway, that's enough of comedy.
I think we should do Amy Schumer.
We should play Amy Schumer. Do her, and then have sex with her.
Okay, I got it. So firstly, can I just point out, I don't know who Amy Schumer is apart from this movie. I haven't seen any of her work. Obviously, I know who she is, but I haven't seen any of her work apart from this movie and the Saturday Night Live sketches that she has appeared in because I watched them on YouTube. And so that is it. I don't know anything else about her.
Oh, okay. See, I know...
apart from that, she's the niece of Chuck Schumer as well.
Oh, yeah.
But and obviously the internet, or the alt-right hates her.
Yeah, I didn't know she was the niece of Chuck Schumer. I know who Chuck Schumer is, but I didn't. I mean, I just thought Schumer was a common name. I also, because the alt-right hates her, I also know that she's Jewish.
Oh, well, yeah, Chuck Schumer's Jewish, so that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably like she's not even that Jewish, but one drop rule. So, and it makes sense because she's a comedian. So you didn't even know. I know a thing or two about Amy Schumer, mostly because I've actually seen some Amy Schumer hate videos, not ultra right-wing Amy Schumer hate videos, but basically, long story short, she's been accused of joke stealing a whole lot of times, and there's all sorts of compilations of her stealing jokes. The funniest one, actually, and this is the one that to me demonstrates that some of the hate of Amy Schumer is irrational, because there's one joke stealing compilation where they show several people telling the same joke, and then they have Amy Schumer showing it, and it's in a joke stealing compilation. I'm thinking, hold on a minute. How can, that doesn't make any sense. If there's lots of different people all telling the same joke, and then you have a clip of Amy Schumer telling it, and it was literally she'd stolen it, there was a comment she stole that joke from 7 people. I was like, no, hold on a minute, how come, it's not like all of those 7 people came up with it at the exact same time, and then Amy Schumer stole it later.
No, they're all in a group chat, and they all kind of come up with this joke, and they got it.
And then Amy Schumer comes in, rubbing her greedy Jewish fingers.
Yeah, she just joins the group chat quickly and then leaves. A second later, it's oh damn, she's got it. Yes. She's got the joke.
But so basically, the point is, some of the criticism of Amy Schumer as a joke thief is obviously just irrational because how can she be a joke thief of multiple people? A joke that was told by multiple people. At that point, the joke's been told by multiple people, so it's fair boost. But apparently, it does seem like she has actually stolen some jokes in the past.
Yeah, here's the thing though, Michael. And this will get into a larger point about why she's hated so much. I have heard the same accusations about Jack Whitehall.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like Jack Whitehall is really irrelevant recently. I haven't seen him in anything.
Nah, he's doing Netflix stuff with his dad.
With his dad?
Yeah. he did that show on, like, I think it was BBC Three. It's like Me and My Dad. Or it wasn't called Me and My Dad, I think, but it was just basically him and his dad talking to celebrities, and his dad would play the role of the old, confused, like, Brexit voting, guy who's like, oh, fucking immigrants, and he didn't actually say that, obviously, but and everyone would laugh at him, and now he's taken that formula to Netflix, and he's going to play somebody gay in a Disney movie, which caused some controversy. So yeah, he's still doing stuff. But yeah, anyway, the point is that he has been accused of stealing jokes, and I don't know how valid that is, but certainly maybe why Amy Schumer is considered like being a joke thief is she does it that much more than somebody like Jack Whitehall, or maybe it's because, hey, Amy Schumer's a woman, Jack Whitehall's a man. They steal jokes at the same level, and then, well, because Amy Schumer's a woman, she gets that much more hate. So,
that sounds impossible, Luke. I think, so the general thing seems to be, like, amongst most people, is that she's not that funny. But, I mean, this almost just feels like there's not anything to say. She's not that funny, but the accusations against her being, the worst thing to happen since comedy, since, anything ever, is pretty over the top.
Yeah, well, she's a bad comedian. I'd say that, because from this movie and the other sketches I've seen of her in SNL, she's not actually that funny. But that's the thing, like, there's plenty of comedians who I'd say, you know what, you're not actually that funny.
Yeah.
But it's
well,
like,
you don't find anything funny.
Okay, fair enough. No, I did like Louis C.K. I think he is funny. That's a comedian that fit in SNL, but then obviously there's the sexual harassment accusations.
Also, one time we watched a Louis C.K. special on Netflix, and Alex Littlewood, who I'm allowed to mention by his whole name because, he's not going to listen to this. He's never.
He doesn't own the
exactly. He was like, this is awful. And literally, like, one of my thoughts about comedy is that if you go into comedy determined to hate it, almost always, like, there are some exceptional examples of comedy, but almost always, if you go into comedy determined to hate it, you will not find it funny. Like, I would say, if you've decided, because Louis C.K. I think is very funny, but, like, when Alex was watching it, and he didn't know who Louis C.K. was, and I was listening to what Louis C.K. was saying, I was listening to his jokes, but I could kind of understand how, if all you were thinking was, who's this bozo? You just hear what he's saying, just think, that's stupid, that's not funny, blah, 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 blah. I think comedy, it's very trust-based. You have to trust a comedian. You have to let them fondle your emotions. You have to let them expose themselves to you in a backstage room, and feel pressured into it because you're working for them. That's how you become. You know what? There's a good joke by Louis C.K., which is he's talking about child molestation, and he says, like, there's no life worse than being a convicted child molester, because you're going to be raped in the shower at prison, and then when you get out of prison, eventually you have to be on a constant registry, and no one's going to want to date you, no one's really going to want to be around you, there's going to be no children. And he says, but they still do it. And from that, you must conclude that molesting children has got to be pretty fucking good.
I remember that. That kind of joke is just like, it's just right on my street. Honestly, I love that kind of joke.
It is.
I think you said that on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, it was. There was a whole controversy about it on, like, The View or something.
Which is great for him.
Yeah, obviously. Exactly. But yeah, so the important thing is that, I don't know where we were, but basically what we're saying is people are funny, but some people aren't funny. Amy Schumer isn't that funny, and
in our opinions, I think, but basically it's lowbrow comedy that she does, and generally lowbrow comedy isn't considered as funny as, like, highbrow comedy or comedy that's clever or, like, dark or outrageous or whatever, because it's just relatively simple, and some people like that simple stuff.
I think I'm going to come in here with a correct opinion, Luke. You can say Amy Schumer is funny, but you can't say that she is good comedy. So you can be like, I found Trainwreck really funny, but you can't say I thought Trainwreck was good comedy.
I agree with that. Fair enough. Yeah, so you can say it's like a guilty pleasure, and the implication with that is, like, you shouldn't like it, but you do.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
Like I like that.
That's the thing. Like that movie is just awful.
Well, I'll tell you what,
It's just not fun.
my
my
very serious guilty pleasure is still what is it? Any comedy starring I've forgotten his name, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Any comedy starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, I just find so funny because I just find it hilarious that this big dude, this real thick boy,
with an Austrian accent,
is like
just walking around being a normal person.
Class, today we are going to play a game called Who's My Daddy and What Does He Do? That's a line from the
yeah, no, I get it. But who? Okay, we mentioned him earlier, but who's the male equivalent? Equivalent to Amy Schumer?
James Corden.
Gavin in the States was really good, so I can't say that. I got to put Corden ahead of Schumer. What he's done since then hasn't been great, but just because of that, I got to do it. And I was going to say Adam Sandler.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the equivalent to Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
It makes the same standard of movies, probably a little bit worse than Amy Schumer, I'd say.
Yeah.
But the amount of hate he gets is just minuscule compared to Amy Schumer.
Yeah, that's true.
And so then that right there is clear as example as any that the Amy Schumer hate is just incredibly misogynistic.
Yeah.
To a certain degree. I remember actually clicking on an SNL sketch of her once, and I didn't know she was in it because she didn't appear until like halfway through the sketch, and I looked down at the dislikes and it had like 700 dislikes or something, and the ratio was quite high. It had like 2k likes. I was like, wait, why has this been disliked so much? It's quite a good sketch. It's funny. It's like I can't remember what it was, but I was like, oh, this is good. Why is it so disliked? And then, like halfway through, Amy Schumer pops in and was like, oh, now I get it.
Yeah.
That's why it's so disliked. Okay. It's just like, yeah, there's a lot of it which is, I hate to look through, it's misogynistic. But she isn't funny. It is exactly like the Ghostbusters. It's just Ghostbusters. But, that's a sign of equality, Michael. You can have female comedians who are unfunny, you can be successful.
Yeah, exactly. It is. That's actually true, yeah. When women can make all the exact same crap that dudes do, and
still have a career and still make money.
Millionaires. Well, I say,
so there you go. We're getting.
Have you ever seen like the neoliberal meme where it's like socialists? 1% of the population controls 90% of the world's wealth. This is bad, and it's like neoliberal. Half those people should be women. Is the joke. So basically, you can do it for this. It'll be like Adam Sandler makes terrible films and blah blah blah, and you go half those Adam Sandlers should be women. And that's to be honest, I've got to be honest, like, I love neoliberal Reddit because it's just like it's such like a hated ideology. Like the idea of, because like Trumpists hate neoliberals because they're like globalists, they support all the free trade deals, all that kind of stuff. So they hate them, and then socialists hate neoliberals. So basically everyone hates neoliberals. So the entire neoliberal meme sphere is literally just like, we're going to take every single way that people hate us and just embrace it. So maybe Amy Schumer should be more like neoliberal Reddit.
Oh god! And do you know what? Like neoliberals are really pissing me off recently. Just because the thing is, Michael, I'm not a neoliberal myself, but the thing is, after the midterms, I'm on Twitter. I'm on American political Twitter. I follow some people, and they just like. They really don't like Bernie Sanders. They
dumb.
really don't like him. And it's like, Jesus Christ, like, they have this thing where, like, all Bernie voters should have voted for Hillary in 2016, but if Bernie wins 2020, I'm not voting for him.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, how do you square that up? And it's just crazy how much they hate, like, Bernie Sanders and they don't like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah, a lot of them hate AOC, and it's kind of like, it's weird because, like, in my opinion on Hillary Clinton, while we're talking about famously hated women, is that her policies, by and large, or the extent to which she was hated on a policy level, was somewhat exaggerated. People were like, oh, she's the worst thing on the planet. And on a policy level, she's kind of just like, not much worse than Obama. But the thing that I didn't like about her was that she was just a really bad politician. She didn't make herself seem likable. But the problem is, if you say that, because neoliberals, the thing they hate is populism. They're like, oh, the problem is populism. It's Trump's a populist, Bernie's a populist. So basically, it means that if you say like, oh yeah, well Hillary was, maybe she was a good politician, maybe she had good policies, but she wasn't a good politician in terms of, getting people to vote, getting people geared up to want to vote for her. And they say, well, then she'd be a populist, and we hate populists. So basically what they want is just like some people who are really rational in the centre, support all of this evidence-based policy and all that stuff, but then they just, don't get the public to vote for them on principle. Because it's like, well, then they're going to be a populist. So yeah, and it's kind of weird, because it's like, Bernie, he's pretty normal. He's not that bad. All he wants is healthcare. We've got that. Even Conservatives in the UK pretend to support the NHS.
Yeah, that's a good way of phrasing it. Even Conservatives pretend to. Yeah.
So,
that's the thing, though. They're just so obsessed with identity politics. I remember I saw this quote. It's like, guess who should run for the Democrat presidency in 2020? It needs to be a woman of colour or an ethnic minority. Like, it can't be Bernie Sanders. And it's like,
yeah,
I know it would be nice to break the glass ceiling and all that, but that is just the most ridiculous thing ever. Like, you're just limiting the amount of people who could become president and just not actually thinking what they could do for those people. It's more like just what they are, what skin colour they are. It's like, I imagine if they would support, or they would find some good in the story. It's like more women of colour and more just women in general are becoming fascists, and it's like, that's a good thing. Fascists is becoming more representative. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Instead of actually the issue is fascism. Yeah. But whatever. That's my thought, man. We have gone off.
Yeah, I know, we did go slightly off track. So the important thing is, fascism. No, the important thing is that it's time to end. Say goodbye.
Yeah, it is time to end. It is time to say goodbye.
Yeah, it's time to say goodbye.
Jesus Christ, we really went off the rails there, didn't we?
Yeah.
Fucking talking about fascism and neoliberalism.
I don't know. It's like, it started with half those Adam Sandlers should be women. It was all my fault, unsurprisingly.
Yeah. Yeah, you just when I start talking about that kind of stuff, I can't really stop.
Anyway,
it is an issue.
Yes.
So we'll conclude. So do you want to go first?
Yes. Well, you know what, Luke? After this film, I feel shitty.
That's actually good, Michael.
Yeah.
It's actually good. If I was reading that in the New Yorker, I would give it a slight.
Now the question is, Luke, what is your favourite verse in the West Side Story song "I Feel Pretty"? For me, it's I feel stunning and entrancing. I feel like running and dancing for joy, for I'm loved by a pretty, wonderful boy. It's so powerful, and what distresses me now is if you type in "I feel pretty" into YouTube, you don't get West Side Story. Luke. You don't get that classic
Just
West Side
get Amy
Story.
Schumer hate videos.
There's no Amy Schumer. There's "I Feel Pretty" official trailer. Own it now on digital HD, Blu-ray, and DVD. Tell you what, the fact that they bothered to put that advert up tells me that some people are going to buy this on Blu-ray. Amy Schumer and Blu-ray. Hey, apparently there's "I Feel Pretty" deleted scenes. So there were some films that weren't funny enough to be included. But the important thing is, Luke, this film was just not that funny. I mean, in a way, it wasn't complete Ghostbusters syndrome where at least nobody went completely mental about it. Everyone went mental about Ghostbusters. This is the end of civilization. I'm kind of glad that the Amy Schumer hate crew didn't really care about this very much that I saw at all. Because really, that's what it deserves. It just deserves to be treated as the same as Ghostbusters, just a bad film that will ultimately be forgotten. It's not some kind of massive moment. And it's certainly not like a so bad it's good film, or a film that is going to become some kind of terrible cult classic. And people are like, oh yeah, remember that terrible Amy Schumer film? No one does. So, in that sense, it's kind of, that's a good thing in a way, because it means that we don't have to deal with all of this crap, and eventually people will probably stop complaining about Amy Schumer. Having said that, from the perspective of watching the film, it means that the film isn't even so bad it's good. It's just bad. And
it's just bad.
And honestly, in that sense, I would say I enjoyed this film. So I would say that I've got a dark trinity of really bad films at the bottom, which are Daddy's Home 2, 50 Shades Darker, and 50 Shades of Grey. After that, there's quite a big jump up, because I have Jurassic World after that, which is honestly, I think, the worst film out of all the other films we've reviewed. As in, on those three. But even then, that's quite a big jump up. Oh, my phone just went. That's quite a big jump up. But these three films are really bad. But the thing is, I enjoyed those films more than I Feel Pretty. Because the 50 Shades films you can just enjoy how absolutely just insane they are. That it's like Christian Grey is just this crazy, insane man who has sex with women in his sex dungeon, and they have this really dysfunctional relationship. And also, it's literally watching a fan fiction be reenacted in a multi-million budget
Michael,
picture.
I've thought about that movie recently. Maybe it was because of this I Feel Pretty thing. We really didn't go, I think, into enough detail on how to take up that movie.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, maybe we will do 50 Shades Freed at some point and possibly do recover some old ground. But anyway, Daddy's Home 2, at least it had the family element. At least it was about Christmas, and we love Christmas, don't we, Luke? Christmas is great. But this film, it didn't have any Christmas in it, Luke. It didn't have any evil billionaires in their sex dungeons. All it had was Amy Schumer doing a rip-off of The Nutty Professor meets that episode where Homer goes to space in The Simpsons. And when I hear that, Luke, I don't think quality. I don't think so bad it's good. I think next. Is that a good closer?
Yeah, that was a great closer.
Yeah, good, thank you. What about you, Luke? Also, it's at the bottom, just clarify.
Okay, so this movie. So firstly, I've thought there's the problem with like the characters treating Amy Schumer like oh, they have this attitude of like, oh, how do you do it? You're this fucking ugly, yet you're this confident. Wow. Like I said before, everyone does treat her like she's disabled, like, you know, she's a child with cerebral palsy, and like there's a news crew at their house, and they're like, even though he wakes up every day with agonizing pain, he still gets up with a smile on his face. And that's like the thing with Amy Schumer. It's like, even though, wow, people just marvel at, she's so ugly, but yet she just strives on in life. Incredible. And that's one of the problems with the movie. And the other problem is that the comedy, like you said, contradicts the message. Like laughing at Amy Schumer for doing things that only attractive people should do is the main source of laughter in the movie. And then there's the question of, is Amy Schumer actually that unattractive? Like, is she not good enough? Like you said, there's probably people watching this movie who are less attractive than Amy Schumer. And yeah, that wouldn't be good for their body positivity or self-confidence. So yeah, there's all those problems, but just the movie in general, not analysing the messages, it's a very generic plot. It's boring. And for a comedy, it's not that comedic. So yeah, it's not so bad it's good, like you said before, it's just bad. And yeah, I'm very glad we reviewed this movie, Michael.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was a really good use of our time.
Yeah. We reviewed it, so you don't have to.
Exactly. And I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. And I'm never going to see it again, or think about it again, probably.
Yeah.
Or maybe actually, if I see a video about Amy.
Have you given anything? I'm curious. Have you given anything lower than a 3 out of 10?
Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey's got 2 out of 10.
Oh, so okay.
50 Shades.
So you've made a different pool to me, because I thought this was the worst one. I mean, it's really just different shades of shit.
Yeah.
You might even say.
No,
50.
yeah, I can understand, because Shades of Grey is more interesting.
Yeah.
Than this, but yeah, this I can't put it worse than 50 Shades. I just can't do it. So yeah, that's it. I think we're done with I Feel Pretty.
Yes. I feel pretty confident we won't be reviewing that film again.
Because it wouldn't really make sense.
Yeah, no, we would. I think we should do that one and just review the same film again. Anyway, okay. But join us next week, where we will be starting DC Ember, which is just such a clever name. I mean, really, we've got to give ourselves a round of applause there.
Yeah.
And we'll be looking at where it all began. Green Lantern, no, not really. We'll be looking at where it all began. Man of Steel. And then Batman v Superman, and then Justice League, for the record.
It's going to be great. DC Ember. What a fucking...
Honestly, yeah, it's going to be, like... I'm kind of looking forward to it. I don't know. I haven't seen... I've seen Man of Steel. It's the only one I've seen before.
What, you haven't seen Batman v Superman?
No, I haven't yet. So,
oh god, you're in for a treat.
Yeah. I think I've seen like quite a bit of it just through like reviews. I know it was Save Martha.
Yeah, that line. Yeah, the thing is with Batman v Superman, I guess I'll say it now. There's no point really. Actually, at the end fight scene, I actually had to stop watching because it was just so annoyingly, and my head was hurting.
Yeah.
Like, with all the stuff that was going on. I was just on my laptop. I wasn't even at the movie, so not really looking forward to seeing it again. But anyway, that's the week after.
Yes.
We've just got the Man of Steel this
I
week.
think these films are going to trigger me. I think they're the most triggering films in the world.
Even more than Jurassic World.
Yeah, I mean Jurassic. Anyway, okay. But I think we haven't said about it yet. So until then,
you've been Michael. I've been Luke. And join us next week for Man of Steel. Thanks for this has been an awful
thanks for
outro.
watching.
Thanks for watching, selecting and reflecting, whatever. I Feel Pretty. Bad movie. Goodbye.